Meet the new KTM 390 Adventure X. This is the touring-oriented model of the 390 Adventure range. Touring-oriented because it gets alloy wheels, it does not get adjustable suspension, but now it's been updated with the whole lean-sensitive electronic suite of the standard 390 Adventure. So now it gets ride modes, it gets cruise control, and it gets lean-sensitive traction control and ABS. Now the questions we'll try to answer in this review are: should you go for this, the Adventure X? Is it the more sensible choice, or should you pay the premium and go for the standard 390 Adventure with wire spoke wheels and fully adjustable suspension? But before that, please do consider liking the Car and Bike channel. If you're new to it, hit that bell icon so that you get notified every time we ride a new motorcycle, drive a new car, and tell you all about it. The KTM 390 Adventure X is the adventure touring variant of the new KTM 390 Adventure range. And going with its touring-oriented personality, the X has alloy wheels with a smaller 19-inch front wheel. More importantly, it misses out on fully adjustable suspension. But suspension travel is identical to the standard model. Ground clearance though is less, but still very impressive at 228mm compared to the 237mm of the standard 390 Adventure. Saddle height of the X is more accessible at 825mm compared to the 835mm seat height of the standard model. The KTM 390 Adventure X has the same stance and dimensions as the standard 390 Adventure, but there are a few differences. Now colors, it gets two colors, either orange or white, but it has more black accents throughout, particularly in the lower side of the side panels going up to the tail section, which is different on the 390 Adventure, the standard model. And this blacked out look continues with the wheels and the front fork, the cover here, it's all black. That is the way it looks like. And in terms of suspension travel, it gets 200mm suspension travel, but it misses out on the fully adjustable rebound and compression damping of the standard 390 Adventure. And it also gets preload adjustability, but you'll have to take out this panel to adjust the preload on this. In terms of weight, this is 1 kg less than the standard 390 Adventure. This is 181 kg or thereabouts, and the standard 390 Adventure is 182 kgs. This also doesn't get span adjustable levers, which you get, and 5-inch console is the same. Even under direct light, it's quite easy and very visible. Menus very easy to toggle through. You look at it, let us know if you like this look with that lower blacked out look, or do you like the slightly more flamboyant look of the standard 390 Adventure. So that's what it looks like, the 390 Adventure X. And of course that headlight, the LED projector headlight, I've ridden it in the dark and it's quite nice. The headlight throw is quite good, visibility is excellent. So that is something which is quite likable on this motorcycle. And now time to ride it, tell you how it feels. And of course, since it is an adventure bike, some of you may want to have that off-road capability even if you do 90% of your time on the street. Does it do a little bit of off-road? Is it as capable as the standard 390 Adventure? That's the question also we'll try to answer. Ride it on the street, ride it on the highway, how does it tour? What does the engine feel like? Are there any vibrations and all that? So time to gear up completely and hit the road. On the move, it's immediately apparent that there's no lack of performance from the 399cc single-cylinder engine. It's punchy, high-revving, and there's a very enjoyable surge of performance upwards of 5,000 RPM. There's enough punch to accelerate quickly in traffic, and you can cover long distances effortlessly with the 390 Adventure X. The ride quality is supple and the suspension setup is excellent. Even though it lacks adjustability, the X's suspension absorbs all kinds of road imperfections and bumps pretty well, whether you're on tarmac or off it. In all, the 390 Adventure X feels light and agile. Whether leaned over a corner or taking on the rough stuff, the chassis offers composure and stability, traits which are impressive. Now let's talk about the performance of the KTM 390 Adventure X. The 399cc single-cylinder engine has a lot of performance, whether you are commuting, making a short dash within the city, or out on the highway, or even a weekend ride to the suburbs. This one has really good performance. There's ample mid-range punch. Upwards of 5000 RPM is when you feel the punch, and it has a really exciting and aggressive power delivery beyond 5000 RPM. 6000 RPM is when you'll sit at 100 km per hour on the highway, but that's also when you'll feel some vibes. Upwards of 6500, the vibes sort of settle down, and between 110, 120 km per hour is the sweet spot of this motorcycle. You can ride it all day. This is a motorcycle designed to cover long distances. If you want to stay on triple-digit speeds all day long on the highway, this bike can comfortably do it. You can actually cover very long distances without feeling tired on this motorcycle. And now, with the updated version, it gets all those electronics suite from the standard 390 Adventure. So you have those 3 ride modes. And what I missed initially on this bike was the off-road mode. Because the off-road mode had a throttle map which is slightly more aggressive power delivery that was missing on the X, which was available in the standard 390 Adventure, but now it's here, and that was my default go-to mode even when riding on tarmac on the standard 390 Adventure. Now I'm happy to report that those modes are available on this, those throttle maps are available on this as well. You have 3 ride modes: street, rain and off-road, with different throttle maps and different ABS calibration as well. Now let's talk about the vibes a little bit. Now any single cylinder engine will have some amount of vibes, and so does the KTM. The vibes you'll feel on the pegs more so than the handlebar, and there is some noticeable vibes, especially if you're commuting in the city or sitting at speeds between 95 and 100 km per hour. Around about 6000 RPM is when you will feel the vibes. Are those vibes intolerable? I don't think so. I will make peace with the fact that any single-cylinder engine will have some vibes, and that is the case with the KTM 390 Adventure X as well. Now, it depends on you. I suggest you take a test ride and see if those vibes are tolerable for you or not, whether you like that kind of vibes. But at the end, if you really want a vibe-free performance, I would suggest look for a parallel twin engine and not look at a single-cylinder engine, because any single-cylinder engine will have some amount of vibes. In terms of dynamics, the 390 Adventure X is very planted around corners. It may be a tallish adventure bike, but it's very planted around corners. The brakes, although it has organic pads up front, axially mounted calipers, offer very good stopping power, and it has that suspension travel, 200 mm front, 205 mm rear, to go over mild off-road trails, and in fact you can do quite a bit of off-road riding as well, despite this having alloy wheels. Hardcore off-road riding, I would suggest you go for the 390 Adventure S, the standard model, and pay the premium. But soft-roading, slight off-road, this thing can take a lot of beating off-road. But again, there are some vibes. Those are present on the pegs. You will feel those vibes. I would suggest again, take a test ride and see if you can make peace with those vibes. The riding position is more or less same as the standard 390 Adventure. The overall riding triangle, the reach to the handlebar, and the sitting position is quite natural and neutral. Even though the riding position is not uncomfortable per se, you will feel like taking a break after a couple of hours riding. With the lower seat height of the X, you sit in the bike rather than on it. It depends on rider height, and I prefer the standard 390 Adventure's slightly taller riding position over what the X offers. And then there are other not so good news. The 390 Adventure X, at least on this test unit, has a tendency to stall at low revs in different riding conditions, which becomes quite annoying. And if you're going off-road, the engine stall issue could make all the difference between you being upright
and tipping over.
But if 90% of the time you will not be doing off-road riding, you will just be sticking to tarmac, then this will suit all your requirements. That adjustable suspension is not required. In fact, the suspension setup is quite nice. It's plus, handles all those waves on the highways, very nice. Handles all those speed breakers. Quite a nice and plush suspension setup, which is quite comfortable, no complaints there whatsoever. Braking, now this size and everything is the same, the axial calipers are the same, but the pads on this are organic pads compared to the sintered pads of the standard 390 Adventure. Now, when I first got the bike, actually the bike was not serviced. There was a lot of noise from the crash guard, from the mirror, the chain was loose, so I had to give it back again for a service. After when it came for a service, it was a completely transformed motorcycle. Brakes also became better, but sintered pads gave you slightly better bite, gives you more confidence really than the organic pads. That's not to say that braking setup is lacking in any sense, but if I compare the standard 390 Adventure with the sintered pads, that gives me a feeling of more bite, more confidence than this.
The KTM 390 Adventure X offers a very good package straight out of the showroom. And now, with the updated features and electronics it missed out on earlier, it offers superb value. It is a light adventure touring bike, has composed road manners, and has eager performance, traits which makes it easy to recommend.
In all, the new KTM 390 Adventure X is a well-rounded adventure touring motorcycle which has got great performance, very good touring ability and decent off-road capability as well. Now it gets updated with all those electronics that it missed earlier, and it offers very good value at that price point. If you're looking for an adventure touring motorcycle with limited off-road capability, you don't want to do hardcore riding, then this one is very good at that price point, and the amount you save by not going for the standard model, you can invest in some very good riding gear. So despite those minor hiccups, the new 390 Adventure X is the better value in the new 390 Adventure range.